Hey guys, welcome to the Bandemic podcast brought to you by Kinsman. I am your host, Ray Bada. Tonight on the show, we have guitarist Daniel Benavides from the band Fall. Tonight, we're going to be discussing a ton of stuff about the band. We're going to get into the weeds with gear stuff, and we're also going to discuss what it's like to write a record, to record a record remotely during a pandemic. Stick around, it's going to be a great show. Hey guys, welcome to the Bandemic podcast. I'm your host, Ray Bada. Tonight we have the guitar player for Fall, Mr. Daniel Benavides. Please welcome him to the show. Daniel, what's up, dude?
What's up, Ray? What's going on, man? Thank
So
you for
glad to
having me.
have
This
you.
is great.
Dude, we are glad to have you. We love guitar players and we love people in the Coastal Band, and we're really excited to have you. So while we get started, why don't you help us out understanding how you got your start in music?
Yeah, sure, man. First of all, what you're doing is awesome. I'm so glad that
Thanks, man.
I'm so glad that you're showcasing, coastal acts. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. And
Totally,
yeah, my
totally.
start in music, man, just kind of came out of nowhere because I really don't come from a musical family at all. Like,
Okay, okay.
I'm trying to think, and my mom does a little bit of singing. My dad plays nothing, no instruments. And so it just kind of came out of nowhere, man. But I will say this. I was like big into skateboarding,
Okay, okay.
as a kid
Yeah.
and in middle school. So I had my group of friends and we would always skateboard in the cul-de-sac, the cul-de-sac kids. We would just kind of skateboard. And one of my friend's older brother, he would just be like jamming all the time, like cranked up real loud. And I would hear the guitar. I would hear the
Nice.
electric guitar and think, man, that sounds so awesome. You gotta introduce me to your big brother. I got to see what's going on. So
Yeah.
my friend Lorenzo just introduced us, and I kind of got to see, the instrument like firsthand in front of me.
Yeah.
I think that was a big changing moment, like if I just kind of like think about how I started, I think that moment right there, just seeing him like play something, he was playing like, I think I asked him like, I was listening to like a bunch of like Corn and stuff back then. I was
Yeah.
like, hey man, can you play some Corn? I remember him, I remember him saying, oh, I need a 7-string for that. So I was kind of like, what, 7-string? I didn't know anything
Yeah.
about that. But he was like playing Creed and all kinds of cool stuff. And I
Nice.
remember at the time, like Creed Take like Higher, right? That song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a technical piece, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
early on. So he was like playing that. And I remember like seeing that for the first time and thinking,
Yeah.
man, that's just so
So,
awesome that you can get like your fingers to produce this sound, and then the amplifier and everything just kind of blew me away being in the room and like hearing
nice.
that. So I remember immediately just like saying, dad asked my parents for a guitar for Christmas, and I was probably like 12, 13. I was, like I said, I was in middle
Okay.
school. I was in my skating phase,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so then one Christmas I remember, seeing this box behind the tree, and I'm thinking, oh man, all right,
This
all
is
right, here
it.
it is, right. And so I opened it up, and the box has like this guy skating on it. So I think, oh, okay, well, he got me a skateboard. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and then examining it, I open it up, and it's like one of those Squire starter packs. So I guess it has like
Nice.
some guys skating. He's probably like skating, and he's got like the guitar in it. So yeah, man, I got that Squire pack. It was a blue, Squire, and it came with the amp and the cable and all the starter essentials, and that just kind of started it, man. I got that and just immediately went into the garage and just
Cranked
turned. They
it.
had like two. I remember it had like you couldn't get any more crispy than that amp, dude. Like literally the settings were volume, presence, like literally that was it. It was like, so I remember just cranking that presence and volume and like just not knowing what I was doing, man, but just kind of jamming in my neighborhood, like real cranked up. And yeah, I guess this story is kind of going all over the place, but it's
No, this is
cool
great.
because what's great about the story is that me starting out, and me jamming in my garage, I kind of like met other people who
Uh-huh.
are also involved in the coastal band jamming.
Nice.
I don't know if you know Jason Galvan. He's a great metal
Don't.
player. He plays
Nice.
with Zaffron, and he was my neighbor at the time. So I'll never forget. Also, just jamming, being a kid, and then him coming around, like, because we would skateboard and stuff, and him coming around
Yeah.
and I guess hearing me and seeing, hey man, what's going on? He was older than me at the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, he was older, so I remember he was like, hey man, let me check out your guitar. And I knew nothing, right? Except for like, yeah, I was just making noise, dude. And at the time, I don't know if you ever did this, but like you had your own songs.
Yeah.
Like to you, there were songs.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
I would
Yeah.
literally do like open on the high E and then like maybe like 2 and then 3 and then I was like, oh, I got a song here. I got a little
Nice.
intro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, back to Jason. So yeah, I remember he picked up my guitar and he started playing like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like this, and I thought that was super cool. And I remember he had told me he was like in a band called Monk at the time.
Okay. Okay.
And he was like, yeah, man, it's like punk and metal. And I was like, oh, wow. So that kind of blew my mind right there. I was like, punk and metal. What is this? So, yeah, and just from there, I think my dad saw that I was taking it seriously because I can imagine my parents, being hesitant on buying me an instrument and thinking, oh, well, it's just another phase. He was skateboarding and then I was also into sports and stuff a lot,
Okay.
like playing. My dad would coach me and stuff like this and that. And so then, yeah, I think my dad really saw me taking it seriously and thinking, okay, well, why don't I get him lessons? And
Yeah.
so he.
So were you from the coastal bit? You're from the coastal bit?
Well,
Okay.
I would say so, man, because I moved here in the 4th grade. So I've pretty much been here since I'm technically born in Georgia.
Okay.
But I would say, yeah, like once I got here, that's when like I started playing guitar and stuff like that.
Still part of the coast, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Georgia's right there.
Yeah, for sure, man. I remember like thinking, oh man, I'm never gonna meet anyone. When I was a kid, like I thought, oh, I'm gonna move and I'm not gonna meet any friends or nothing. But I'm very thankful because I think if maybe I wouldn't have made that move, who knows, man? Maybe I never would have played guitar.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. But
so
anyway,
who did you
like
start taking lessons with?
Yeah. So my dad did his research and I guess, he found like some business cards, who knows where, they were just like flyers, business cards posted around town. And lo and behold, this guy named Jason Spradley.
Okay.
So he was kind of close to where we were at too, like my neighborhood.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm probably like 8th grade.
Okay, so still in middle school.
Still in middle school, and I still had the blue, the blue Squire, and at this point, I probably put like some skateboarding stickers on there.
Yeah, gotta make it yours.
Yeah, man. And so yeah, starting with Jason, and I think that was the starting point for me to realize like there's actual, I guess, theory to this instrument.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that he's like teaching me, in like inversions and like chordal structures and all this, but just scales and basic chords, which is something that I hadn't discovered yet being in my garage. So from Jason, I learned, how to play my chords and scales and things. And then he would, teach me songs and he's a great player. He lives in Austin now.
Nice.
And he has his own shop and I'm sure he still does lessons, but now he like, he repairs guitars and he has his own like custom guitars and great guy. I still, keep in contact with him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man, he's great. And but he's the guy I would say besides like, me hearing, Korn and all that and kind of, but Jason's the guy that really kind of showed me metal, I would say. He was the kind of guy to like really introduce me to Iron Maiden and lead playing and stuff like that because I was pretty new metal, dude. I was pretty I was pretty yeah.
What year was that? Around?
Oh man, this is probably like 99, 2000.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
like,
it was huge. That was music.
Oh yeah, man. Like my parents wouldn't let me dye my hair, but I mean, I had like the spikes and stuff, and like,
nice.
I had like the Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that. So I was coming into Jason like, yeah, man, I want to play Korn, dude. I want to play Limp, like, but he really like changed my perspective, man, because he's like a total like 70s 80s rocker, man. He had like
Okay.
the Fender Strats, and like the full stack Fender amps and stuff like
Oh
that.
man.
And so like after the lessons, I remember I would just kind of like, he would say, "Hey man, you want me to play?" And he would just crank it up, man, like crank up his Fenders, and then he would put on some stuff that him and his band were working on. He was like in
Okay.
a
Okay.
3-piece at the time. It was like
Uh-huh.
really like rock solid tunes. But I guess I'm kind of getting to the point where his lead playing was really something special, which was something I guess a dynamic I haven't really felt.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I hadn't been to a concert yet or anything really. Um, so kind of seeing this and like feeling like, I guess, the emotion behind lead playing and
Yeah.
just kind of seeing it, I was like, oh dude, you got to show me some of that stuff, like, so then that opened my whole world to like, he showed me Iron Maiden and Judas
Nice.
Priest. And then I remember my first, Maiden song I ever learned was "Can I Play with Madness." He showed me
Nice.
that. Yeah. And, so
So
that
you
kind of
must have
went,
had some skill at that
yeah,
point because
yeah,
that's a skillful, what I mean? That's not just like chords or anything like that's
yeah.
actual like, some really intricate riffs.
I'm like really thinking this is a great conversation because like it makes me reflect on my practice routines and stuff. And, it was definitely non-existent, man. Like I was not practicing to what I would consider, practice to my standards now.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of curious, because like the intro to Can I Play with Madness has like this alternate picking on the open D.
Yeah.
So like it must have just been like something that I would just kind of work on with him because
Okay.
I was also a kid, man. So it's kind of like, and and I've taught guitar, dude. I'm sure you can attest to this, where it's like the kid doesn't practice.
Yeah.
It's been a whole week, and then
Yeah.
you come back and it's like you're back to square one. So and I was totally that kid, man, where like I would just, okay, my dad would pick me up and then I probably wouldn't see the guitar, and then like it'd be like a day before the lesson I would open, he gave me this blue binder and be like, oh shoot, what was the scale, or like
Yeah.
to quickly cram. But dude, we both know you can't cram with
You
guitar.
can't fake it.
You can't cram with guitar. But yeah, so to the skills, I would just have to devote it to being there with Jason, man, and like practicing an hour with that lesson a week. And and thinking back, he would show me the metronome and kind of how to practice, and he would put it
Yeah.
on and have me play along to the metronome. So I think those early skills
Yeah.
definitely
Those
came from
that's
those
really
lessons.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing with a
Um,
metronome is usually something that you develop over, I mean, golly, maybe late high school that you're really understanding the metronome, you know what I mean? So the
yeah,
fact that he was introducing you to that pretty early, that's pretty interesting.
definitely, man. And I would say it wasn't something that I fully understood either. So I wasn't like, all right, Jason, let me do these 16th notes and you tell me what's, it's more like he probably just kind of set it to the quarter note and had me, do that kind of thing. But yeah, like you said, just kind of being introduced to that early on. And so that went on for, quite some time. And,
Okay.
at the same time, my whole life outside of guitar and Jason's lessons was really inspiring because I would say that, my friends, and I'm extremely thankful for my friends, man. Like I've had the same group of friends, since middle school, some elementary and high school.
Wow.
So we've like grown up together
Yeah.
and we've like, showed each other stuff, and we've kind of like, progressed and musically sort of like, I mean, they don't all play instruments
Uh-huh.
necessarily, but, in terms, I guess it was just kind of like an evolution in our musical tastes
Okay. Okay.
because, it started with like, punk and skating, right? Getting into punk rock. And,
Yeah.
this conversation can really go all kinds of places, man. But, really getting into like that kind of music from punk rock and skating and like, Tony Hawk the games, the
Yeah, yeah,
soundtracks.
yeah.
We were like super into that. And I guess if we're kind of putting a break on the guitar skills, I have to talk about like the bands, because I think that really has a lot to do with the shape of, I guess, my musical direction, because that's where we're going, right? With this
Yeah, yeah,
conversation. Yeah.
totally.
Hmm.
One of the things that we usually touch on is just like, the scene in Corpus
Hmm.
is a pretty heavy scene, you know. And I've noticed that like a lot of the guys that play heavy music, they're very connected in a way that's just so unique to the South. You know what I mean? And not maybe just the south of Texas, but also South Florida, South Georgia, South Louisiana, and they're all like very interconnected with like helping each other. You know what I mean? And just being cool rather than being maybe in a competition type situation. You know what I mean? So I find that in the coastal bend, when people say, "Oh yeah, I play in heavier music," I'm like, "Oh, you know everybody, and everybody knows you because everybody's just kind of cool with each other, and there's not like this. There's more of a camaraderie that I like. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that you're touching on that, how you have a group of friends that are kind of like molding each other and shaping
Yeah.
each other. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's good
definitely.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit more about if you can,
Hmm.
just touch on the band a little bit. So how
Yeah.
did that?
Okay.
How did you
Hmm.
kind of go from playing by yourself with a teacher? How
Okay.
did that evolution go into actually being like, well, I think I
Like
want to play in a
playing.
band. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. So like, again, with my group of friends, we started a band. So me, Alex, I'm gonna just give them a shout out, man, because they're my
Yeah,
boys. Me,
yeah.
me, Alex, Steven, and Gabriel. We pretty much were, skateboard friends, and then, like I said, the music growing up, and then yeah, we just started. Alex got a guitar, Gabriel got a drum set, a friend that G
Nice.
played bass, and we wanted to make music, man. Like we loved the stuff we were listening to, and so yeah, we started our first band called Demised, and
Nice.
this was in high school.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, around this time now we're like we've evolved, man. It's like no longer punk. We're now into like melodic death metal, and
Nice.
so yeah.
So
So
did
we
you take
start.
guitar in high school? Sorry,
Yes.
where did you go to high school?
So I went to Carroll, and I was fortunate to have Mr. Justice as my teacher.
The man.
Yeah, the man, because
Yes.
yeah, and like I think you can kind of see the theme with this overall podcast is influence, man, because
Yeah.
I've been,
Yeah.
I'm influenced. And I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to become a teacher too, is just kind of like,
Okay.
I love that power of, influencing others. But anyway, yeah. So Alex, the other guitar player from Demise, was also in, guitar at Carroll and Mr.
Nice.
Justice's. And so I think that, that just kind of really got us together, being in those practice rooms. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunately, man, unfortunately, we weren't really taking our, classical studies to, we'd break out in the practice rooms and like take out our guitar picks and like, sort of like tremolo picking on the classical, but like with a pick, not, yeah. So we
Justice come
were,
by, toss a pick.
dude, the thing with Justice, man, I think, and here's where I respect him, because I think he was like, he was about, if you were like playing, if you were doing
Yeah.
something, he wanted to just, and me kind of like reflecting back, I think he just wanted to see, students be creative, do something with the instrument, like,
Yeah.
and so he would actually like be interested in Demised and stuff. And man, I remember when we had our demo, like we gave
Yeah.
him a copy, and he would
Nice.
like he would like play it, man. He was like talking about our band and stuff, and so that was super cool. And that band was a lot of fun, man. Like that's really where I got my start. And we played. I would say we were pretty successful for being like a little high school band, man. We got
Yeah.
opportunities to play and open for some of our heroes at the time, man. Like we were like really big into death metal, man. So we got to like open up for like Disgorge from California,
Nice.
and some shows that would come, to Corpus. Like I remember Behemoth came, and
Yeah.
Decapitated, and all these
Yep.
bands that we were like super into. We were kind of like able to open up these shows and stuff. And So I think, that was a great start for me. And the band, it slowly fizzled, as like graduation was coming, and everybody's just kind of doing their own thing, kind of
Yeah.
moving on and stuff like that. And for me, I think, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, to be honest, man. And I knew that the guitar was just something that I was really into,
Uh-huh.
really passionate about. And I'm sure, this is again, my parents like, they probably wanted me to, go to business school or something. But again, I'm very thankful because they're super supportive. So they like supported my decision to pursue a music degree.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So who did you study with that? Were you here in town? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I studied at A&M Corpus, and not really kind of, just being a kid and not really like having a full, I guess, goal of like, okay, what are you going to do with this music degree? I think my mentality at the time was more like, I want to play guitar. I want to be a rock star. Let me just learn all about music. So, I would say for those years, I'm extremely thankful for like, I guess, the knowledge and kind of the more, systematic approach to practicing and understanding,
Okay,
and understanding, the discipline behind the instrument. So, those years I spent a lot of time practicing, electric. So, yeah, man. So,
so when you went to college, was it already like in your mind, this is, maybe my friends weren't, maybe they liked it, but they didn't love it as much as I do. When was that shift? Was that in college or was it before college? Where it's just like, no, this is something else. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So, I would say when it came to writing new stuff for Demised, we really wanted to push, what we were doing. And I think, us, and me leaving like high school and going into college and, getting ready for that next step and being more serious on the instrument. I was spending more time practicing.
Okay.
So, I think maybe like the tunes that we were wanting to write, just maybe everybody kind of wasn't in the same ballpark, so to speak.
Okay.
Like, and it's understandable, like it requires a lot of time and,
Yeah.
and commitment. And I guess in high school it's kind of that fire and energy, and we still have that brotherhood, but
Yeah.
definitely it kind of just fizzled out, I would say, when it came to like writing
Okay.
material that would top what we had before. So,
Well, it's
yeah,
interesting that you say that because like most high school bands aren't writing. You know what I mean? So that's just another kind of like little something that's sticking out to me is that, as a high school kid saying, no, we're going to write. And not only saying that you're going to write, but you're going to actually work on your writing. So was that like something that you had been doing for a while, or was that developed through like an influence or a need to play live and have original stuff? Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And again, it just came from like jamming, to be honest.
Nice.
Me and Alex, he was the other guitar player of Demised, and and all the other guys, we would always just hang out after school, man. And like immediately when the bell rang, we would just like always get together.
Nice.
But then we would just, kind of get together and jam. We would have like our little combos. He had a crate, I had a line 6.
Nice.
And yeah, it was just kind of like, and I miss those days, to be honest, man, because it's a lot different now when it comes to like the writing. Well, at least the way we're kind of doing it now, because in that time it was just like me and Alex in the room with our 2 little amps in my friend Steven's living room. And we would just like literally like have a riff and then show a riff and then like, okay, let's take this riff. And like, it was just, we had a good chemistry, and we would just kind of put the riffs together, like that's how we would kind of write it at that time.
Okay.
And then we would kind of like get with the drummer, and then our drummer would add the beat. And so it was like a very collaborative thing
Nice.
then, you know? Um,
Definitely different than right now, right?
well, yeah, in terms of like,
The
I think,
pandemic and everything.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And even then, like kind of before, it's kind of like, even though it's still like collaborative, it's kind of more like, okay, let me show you this riff I recorded, or, check out this
Yeah.
video of me playing the riff, and, what do you think? And maybe kind of like putting it together that way.
Uh,
Whereas like, as those times are like, before, sharing necessarily. So we were like forced to be together right there in the room
yeah.
and jam. And it was felt very personal and awesome, like
Yeah.
Alex was very inspiring to me, like, and I'm sure me to him, and we would just kind of really come up with some awesome stuff together. And so, yeah, I really miss those days, and very thankful for those days too, because I think that kind of really um, pushed me to want to get better. And like I said, going to pursue it in the university.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like gasoline on the fire.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just getting
So
getting bigger and bigger.
yeah, man, for sure. So I guess the sad part of that story is that like going into the university, there was like no band.
Mm.
So the band was done. And so I think, that time of me spending the university, and being influenced from all the great players in the music department, all the awesome instruments, and,
Yeah.
and then meeting a new group of friends, that were like real into like, classical. And then like I started getting into like prog, I discovered
Yeah.
like, a Symphony X and like Anchor and Dream Theater and stuff like that. So I got into that stuff later. You know
Okay.
what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So that just kind of, and then I started getting to like the shredders,
Okay.
like the neoclassical guys like Michelangelo and, Yngwie and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
that,
that was towards the end of
mhm.
college or towards the middle of
this
college?
is, this was kind of like, I would say just during the whole time in
Okay.
college,
Nice.
man. Yeah.
So
During
who
the whole
introduced
time.
you to the, or did you
Hmm.
just kind of find your way? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that that was, I guess that was the time of Napster, not Napster, but like
Hmm.
LimeWire and all that stuff where you could just be
Oh yeah.
exposed to everything and
Yeah.
everything was like, oh, I can get all this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a great question, man. So,
it's
yeah,
Hector just
definitely.
came up to say hi.
Oh, oh, hey, bud.
He got curious.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely a lot of that went on, man. The illegal downloading. We would do like Morpheus and DC plus plus, and we would just kind of, if it sounded cool, we would download it, man. So I remember like
Nice.
discovering like Stradivarius, and like the name sounds cool. Okay, let's download it. Or,
Yeah.
God Dethroned, yeah. Add it to the mix. We would
Get
burn
it.
CDs. We'd have like the mix like labeled like mix 35, mix 4, and just kind of like have all these mixes with stuff we wouldn't know on him. And then like, hey man, you remember that mix? What was that band? And so yeah, just getting more into music and stuff like that. And but a great friend of mine, Eric Gutierrez, at the university, man, like
I know
he's
Eric,
really,
yeah.
yeah, he's a great guy, great
Yeah.
guitarist. He's one of my closest friends. But I met him in my college years, and
Okay.
so yeah, I would say that like that, like talking and meeting with him, and that kind of led me towards the more the prog side, and
Okay.
kind of getting more into the players. We would nerd out, on like technique and stuff, and Michael Romeo, and just watching videos and like laughing how clean they were. We're that level of nerd where we could watch videos and just like laugh because the guys were so sick,
So
that kind of stuff.
did you know Sal Romero?
Oh yeah, Sal's a great
Dude.
dude, man. He's
Okay.
a phenomenal
You're
guitar
mentioning
player.
Eric and I was just like,
Yeah.
he
Hmm.
has to know Sal. Sal's a monster
Yeah.
too.
Sal's an insane guitarist. So that's also, yeah, all those guys. That was my time in the university.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, but I do want to touch on the classical bit too,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah, I don't want it to just sound, that I was like some complete classical noob, even though I consider myself not very classically proficient on the instrument.
yeah. Okay,
But
okay.
I did practice, and Mr. Justice really taught me a lot, and went to UIL and got my share of ones, and
Yes,
you
nice.
know, so Yes, I studied with Jacob Porter at the
Okay, yeah,
university
yeah,
for my first few years. Do you know him?
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. He's at A&M, right?
yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
if he's
yeah.
still there. I have
I'm
no
not
idea.
sure.
I haven't spoke with him in a while, but I studied with him for a few years, and he had some great, teaching approaches, and but then my last couple of years, I decided to go to Philippines,
Oh,
and
okay, okay, yeah.
yeah, and I've always respected him as a player, and I love
Monster,
going to his monster,
monster.
yeah, and I love going to his concerts, and but the thing about him was that he kind of made me feel okay in
Okay,
terms of being like a rock guitarist, because
nice.
I think like studying with Porter, it was always kind of like, what are you doing? Stop playing the electric, like do the classical. Like it was obvious I wasn't practicing classical to my fullest potential, but in Philip, he knew that too. But the thing with him is like, he was pushing me, into a direction to make a career out of something. He was like, you
Yeah.
know what? He was like, well, maybe classical is not your thing. And at this point, I'm going to graduate, and I know I'm not going to be like a classical performance degree kind of guy. And, you know, but I stuck it out, and I have my degree, and I did my junior and senior recital, and I had phenomenal. I loved doing that, and I love
Nice.
playing that music, and I really practiced a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself, a classical player, like in terms of just having the technique and putting the hours in, because I will admit, man, all those years, it was definitely like 85% electric, the 15 classical,
Yeah.
But what's cool is like I would take, things that I would learn and apply it to the
Yeah.
electric, and just kind of understanding, groupings and different rhythms and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. That's amazing that there are
mhm.
college professors. They're like, hey man, it's okay if you study something else. Maybe that's you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
amazing that such a high caliber classical musician has these wide eyes. They're just like, yeah, that's cool too. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, man. Because
some classical guys are a little bit more, you
oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely, man. Like, who's that guy at Austin at UT?
I'm not sure.
Is it David something?
I can't
But
remember. He's one of the judges. He's one of the judges for
I
sure at
hear he's
UOL.
he's quite the harsh fellow, man. I definitely hear that. And the thing with Philip B is like he's very like honest with you and to the point.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bullshit Philip B. Like I'm not gonna come in and like pretend I'm doing. He
Yeah.
knew right off the bat, man. And so like he really kind of, I would say he didn't tell me to, hey man, go become a teacher, but I remember having those conversations with Philip P about, consider a career where you are able to do what you love, you know, and still have time for it.
Yeah.
So
Man.
I kind of realized that, I have all this knowledge, and I've spent all these years playing guitar, and let's do it. So yeah, that was kind of like I graduated, and then didn't really do much with the music degree, and so went back and got my teacher certification, and here we are, man. I love what I
Nice.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So, and you're
Um,
able to play with the band. I see. I think the very first time I saw you guys play was, well, I can't remember the name of the place. It's off Weber. It's kind of like in a strip mall by a barbecue place.
oh yeah, bone
Um,
shakers.
Bone
Yeah,
Shakers. Okay.
bone
So,
daddies. Yeah,
so
yeah, dude.
some students of mine were like, "Will
Hmm.
you come to our show?" And I was like, "Of course I'll come to your show." Like of course. So I went in to go see them, and there was a lineup switch, and you guys actually were going on before them, and you immediately had my attention because I was like, "Oh, he plays Mesa. I love
Oh,
Mesa." You know what I mean? And the thing that it was just like, whoa. I didn't know there were musicians like because I was new to Corpus. I'm not from Corpus, so I was new to Corpus.
okay.
So to see that, I had a buddy of mine with me, and we were just kind of sitting there, just kind of taken aback at the level of musicianship that we were seeing, because we were there seeing a high school band. So, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to, to have our expectations just like magnified that big because like these guys showed up with no, you usually see people with like giant pedal boards and stuff like that. You guys had amps. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, these guys are monsters. There's
Yeah.
nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide with that stuff. It's just like a mess that will give you what you put in.
Dude,
So,
totally.
and that was the first time we saw Fall, and we are just like, who are these guys? And that was, man, that was probably 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking back, and I think that show must have been one of the last shows that Bone Shakers ever had
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they shut down, and I'm really trying to remember that show
It was with the
because
Blood of Our Brothers guys.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
name,
yeah.
yeah, and I'm thinking it might have been like our release show because I remember we did a show at Bone Shakers where we played our entire debut album like
Nice.
just to kind of release it. So it might have been that one, man. And that's yeah, it's so cool because I believe we talked, right? Were you already at Ray?
I am not. I know I was at Ray, but I'm not
Okay.
sure if I was even living in Corpus yet. I might
Oh,
because I commuted for 2 or 3 years before I moved over here. Um, yeah, just doing the. My dad did the commute for 20 years to Corpus, and I was like, I can do that. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not even sure if I was in actually living in Corpus yet, but yeah, just seeing you guys and so how
Hmm.
much of the lineup has been original? Because you guys have been together for a while.
Yeah, man. So there's, well, I guess, what's crazy about this story that I've spent a lot of time talking about, man, is that there's like these gaps in the timeline,
Okay.
and one of those gaps is Jesse and I jamming together, in my garage,
Yeah.
So, man, this is like, I was definitely at high school, so like early college,
Okay.
meeting Jesse because we had like mutual friends.
Okay.
So I remember like Jesse already then had like riffs for fall. I'm not sure if it was fall, but I do specifically remember him showing me, riffs that are now the song To Dust.
Okay. Okay.
And so that was kind of our introduction. So me telling my story, Jesse's got his story because, um, and I don't want to be incorrect with the fall history, but there were previous members before me, like
Okay.
guitar and drum and bass and stuff like that. So they had like written the pretty much the material,
Okay.
like and Jesse and I had always been friends, throughout the years and just kind of talking. Yeah, man, we got to jam and we got to jam. I remember we'd get together and like try to come up with stuff and like for something separate than fall.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think maybe their guitarist quit, or I'm not sure exactly what happened. But I remember hitting him up and be like, dude, yeah, man, I would love to jam. Like, if you got, because they were a three-piece after that, and they were kind of
Okay.
still doing shows, and Jesse sings and plays, man, like he's insane for doing that, you know?
Yeah, like that was another thing that stuck out to me. I was just like,
Uh-huh.
how's he do that? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
dude, I know, man. That's freaking crazy. So I remember like messaging him in, probably like Facebook messaging him and saying, dude, man, if you guys want a session player, like I'm down to just kind of like my intentions with that were kind of just to like, help him out on be like a rhythm guy, like,
Yeah.
you know, add more fullness to the sound, like kind of like that. So we started just specifically focusing on that. And then
Nice.
it ended up kind of like, me bringing my element to the band, like kind of my background. And like, I would say kind of, imagine like a cake, that's not quite done, it's
Yeah.
done, but then you're just putting like the topping on it, man. You're just like putting the icing and you're just like sealing the deal, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I came in and like, kind of added my parts, like my kind of twist and my kind of approach and like help with like harmony and stuff like that. And so by the time I joined, it was a very quick, I guess it was kind of like, all right, join, and then we're going to the studio kind of thing.
Trial
Yeah,
by fire.
yeah. Because, like I said, they had the songs, and I'm not quite sure. It might have already been like 10 years of Jesse like kind of having these songs. And
Okay.
again, like I'm not too sure specifically, but I know like they had the songs with the lineup and all that, like they're and demos and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, we did a few shows and like I learned the songs and kind of added my twist to it. And so like yeah, it came time to doing the recording, and that recording is a very special. We're talking the insatiable weakness,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
That's a very special recording to me, just because like and I had done recordings before, and
Where did you guys do
yeah,
that one?
this one we did with Rob at Precision
Mm.
Studios. Do you know Rob? Yeah.
Yes, we just recently become
Okay.
acquainted because through
Yeah.
Alex and
Oh yeah,
Alex.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Alex he's
He
a
was a
great guy,
guitar guy
man.
too, right? Uh,
Alex,
was it Beltran a classical guitar
oh,
guy at Tamuk?
um, not during my time, man. So he
Okay, okay,
wasn't
okay.
there, and I'm not sure if he was, but yeah. So
Yeah,
doing that record, man, was really cool. Like, to kind of like see the songs, like come alive, and like, really, yeah, I'm very proud of that record, man. And like, I think me as a guitar player, it has some of the best stuff I've ever recorded.
nice.
Like, and I kind of listen. And maybe we can talk about this, man. Like, you kind of like in the studio, and like you just kind of things just happen. You get these sparks, and things just come to play. And I had those moments on like some of the solos and stuff, for like because I would kind of like map out things a little, but I
Okay.
think being in the studio like really would push me to like just be real, like try the sickest thing you can do kind of stuff, to where
Yeah.
it's like I'll record something and then like later be like, oh shit, I gotta like remember how to do that, or learn how to do that, or like how the hell did I do that kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's still stuff on there that I listen to, I'm like, oh shoot, man, I was like, I was practicing that, kind of stuff. Like, so I don't know.
No.
Yeah, has that ever happened to you, man, where you're kind of like surprise yourself in the studio? Like,
Every once in a while, like when
yeah,
we record, something will show up later on that we'll hear on like when we listen to a playback, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't know who did that, because we have two. It's me and Rome. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of
hmm
like, did you do that? And he's like, no, I think you did. I was like, I'm pretty sure you did that.
yeah.
Because we're trying to avoid like having to play those parts live.
Oh yeah.
So do you
Yeah, man.
guys, man? So do you guys play with a click, or do you guys like practice with a click? Like, what's that like?
Yeah. So that album is like a very like, man, it's like right on point on the click, because thankfully on that album we have the monster Dirk Verburen on drums, dude. Like
Nice.
at the time he was like in Soilwork,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
now he's in Megadeth, which is like insane. Like Dirk
That
was
is
on our
insane.
album, So
Man, how did that come
yeah,
about?
so Jesse has developed a good relationship with the Soilwork guys, and I
Okay,
think
okay.
this was like from opening up for them, when they would come down, and like because Soilwork has been to House of Rock quite a bit, man. Even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before I was in the band, they were able to open up, and just they really liked Fall and stuff, and so they kind of
Nice.
became friends. And then Fall did an EP in Canada.
Oh
It was
wow.
just, yeah. This is before I was in the band. It was Jesse, Dave, and Freddie. That
Wow.
yeah, and B, the singer Bjorn,
Okay.
he did like some guest vocals and stuff and helped produce
Nice.
it. So they were kind of in contact, and then so I guess yeah, Jesse was able to get Dirk in the conversation when it came to the album, because and that's kind of like a bit of a nightmare story with with the fall band, man, is like the drummer situation.
Okay.
It's just kind of been like very hard to keep consistent. And by the time I joined, Freddie, who was like their, longtime drummer,
Uh-huh.
I think he was, he was already out, man. I think I did like 2 shows with him,
Oh wow.
and so he wasn't going to be on the recording, and yeah, we needed somebody desperately, and so yeah, Jesse got Dirk on in there, man, and
That's
the
insane.
thing, yeah, the crazy part to that is like, okay, you got the album. We got the album. Now who's gonna play that shit?
Yes.
Who's gonna play it? So
Oh my gosh.
so yeah, that was that was a struggle, man. So yeah, finally we've gone through several drummers, man, and like to answer the question on the click, we've had the drummers that are like I guess for it and against it, man. Like we've
Okay,
had
okay.
some, they're like, I would say kind of more old school cats, man. They're just like, yeah, man, let's just jam and see where it goes. And
Yeah.
it just kind of like, I kind of, when I think about that, it's so wild because it feels like a race. Like it's
Yeah.
like the song starts and like,
See you at the end.
we're all, yeah, all right, I'll see you there. I'll see you there, man. I'll see if you make it. Yeah, it's like chaos. And
Oh
it's
my
kind of
gosh.
like, yeah, especially with that kind of music, it has to be
Yes.
super tight. It has to be like, it has to be with the click, man. So
Yeah.
we would try to get like drummers that are like against the click, on the click, and they would be like halfway through the song, take it off, and then be at a race. And it was just, so
Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, thankfully, like, man, I'm not sure if it was how much time had gone by without the drummer situation or having one. I think we even did one show with like the backing tracks as drums,
Nice.
and it was
Hey,
at Bone Shakers, and it
shows must go
was,
on, right?
dude, the show must go on, but unfortunately, like we could not hear the
Oh
drum tracks,
no.
man. It's like one of those situations where like everything is great in sound check, and then the show starts, and the sound guy decides to to turn the drums down
Yeah.
or whatever. So that was like a nightmare, man. I remember like us as a band, like, oh man, we tried it with the drum tracks and it's not working, man. So we needed to find someone desperately. Um, and dude, this is another cool story, man. Remember the skateboard story I told you at the beginning
Yeah.
with the cul-de-sac kids?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out, man, like Lorenzo, the kid that showed me, his older brother playing guitar. It turns out that years later, man, and now as an adult, he's a drummer,
That's
and
amazing.
isn't that crazy?
That's
Isn't that
crazy,
crazy?
dude.
So he lives in he had moved to San Antonio as a kid, so I knew that, and I kind
Okay,
of
okay.
like lost touch with him.
That makes it
Like,
even bigger. It's like,
right?
oh no, yeah, we
Isn't
didn't.
that
It did
crazy?
just stay in Corpus. Now we're in San Antonio, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And so it's like we reconnected on social media, and so like I knew he was like in marching band and stuff, so he had like like snare rolling, like
Yeah, he had the
like
chops.
freaking drum line and stuff. And so anyway, I remember he put out a cover of an Animals as Leaders song, and I mean, I saw that on YouTube, and I showed Jesse. I was like, dude, this is my bro, man. And we grew up together, and look, he's freaking covering Animals as Leaders. That's not some easy shit, dude. Like, that's like some pretty. So this guy,
Yeah.
he's like covering Animals as Leaders, man. Like, and I'll have to send you the video, man, because I would say that video is like what got him in the band, man. So like, we sent him the songs, and this dude's definitely a click drummer. So
Nice.
like, he gets it.
Nice.
He
Yes.
gets it, man. He gets it. So we're like rehearsing with the backing tracks, and so the show that you saw,
Okay.
that must have been like one of his first shows, man.
Dang, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, with Lorenzo, right? So he was still living in San Antonio, and so we were kind of, but his dad is actually Maclovio Pettis.
Whoa.
He,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. News guy. That's
yeah,
amazing.
dude, right? So like Maclovio Pettis still would live in Corpus. He would like actually like go back and forth with the family in San Antonio, and then
Okay.
come down to do like the weather and stuff. And so
That's
they
crazy.
still had the house that we like grew up in, the cul-de-sac, right?
That's
So
crazy.
so then we would go over there and rehearse. So like we're back in like the childhood area, but now we're like
Full
rehearsing fall
circle.
tunes. Yeah, yeah. So like yeah, we did everything there and with Lorenzo, and we're now like a solid band, uh
Nice.
yeah, four-piece band playing with the click, we got the
Nice.
backing tracks going because I don't know if you noticed, man, but there is a lot of atmosphere in Falls music, man. There's a lot of
Yeah.
keys, there's a lot of like background, there's a lot of like you know nuances and stuff, and we still want a keyboard player, you
Okay.
know we
Okay.
but on that first one, it's all like us doing it. There's no
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
keyboard, like we didn't hire a keyboard player or anything. So then on the backing tracks, it's like we don't have a keyboard player, so it's like backtracked.
Yeah.
So I
Well.
guess the point is like it came that we had to play with the click, and we need
Yeah.
those. Like it sounds raw without the keys and stuff, and it just
Yeah.
sounds more like we want it to sound like the record as much as the record as possible, like when we play
Yeah.
live, and just super tight, especially with that kind
Yeah.
of music. So then, yeah, all the shows we would do with Lorenzo were with the click.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, one of the things I tried to do my research, right? So
Yeah.
I went deep diving and I noticed that you were maybe a fan of Mr. Holcomb from Periphery.
Oh yeah.
So do you think
Yeah.
they do a lot of the atmospherics? Do you think that had some influence on y'all as a group because they do a lot of like transitions with atmosphere and stuff like that?
Yeah, dude. Definitely a lot of the layering and stuff that
Yeah.
they do is like super cool. And and how they like utilize, three guitars without it sounding like
Yes.
overpowering. It's not like because man, I've I not to anybody that's a fan of this. I'm not trying to shame on this band, but I saw Whitechapel once,
Okay. Yeah.
and like they had three guitars, but it was like they were just kind of all doing the same thing, and so it just
Okay.
sounded like this wall of mush,
Yeah.
and I felt like it wasn't necessary for that. Whereas like Periphery, man, like yeah, they're like doing their own thing, but it like works together,
Yeah.
and so yeah, a lot of those ambient cleans and stuff, we love that stuff, man. We love layering and like getting real spooky with it, and like lushing the reverb, and just like having the delays. It's we love that, man. We can just get a lot. Like I can just like turn on my like I've been using the like neural DSP plugins a lot lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, are you familiar with those?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Dude, they're so good, right?
Yeah.
And I have quite a few of them, but there's like some on the Tosin and the Pliny that have just some settings that I'll just like mess with, and like I'll just be there with her hours like playing little clean stuff, which
Man.
which is a great transition into our next topic, because I'm glad that you mentioned Periphery and all those layers and all the stuff, because yeah, man, that did have a maybe not necessarily Periphery as a band, but that sound
Yeah.
definitely had a lot to do with our next EP, where I would say we did a lot of experimenting,
Nice.
with the Dreamer of Tragedy.
Okay. Okay.
That's the follow up, because that I think that that EP really stems from improvisation and just messing with sounds, and just
Nice.
like loving effects and pedals and like the ambience, like you mentioned, and the
Yeah.
layers. So I love that. Jesse loves that, man. I can just be in my room and like play little clean passages all day and get lost. And
Nice.
so that EP has a lot of that, a lot of the
Nice.
ambience, a lot of reverb, a lot of space, and it's just yeah, it's a great EP, man. I'm very proud of that one as well. And also on that one is has Lorenzo on the recording too,
Okay.
which is great. And then also on that one, we really wrote that together, as a
Oh,
band,
okay.
you
You
know?
got that cohesiveness.
Yeah. Not necessarily like the way I was telling you with me and Alex back in the day in the room, but writing in the sense of like, sharing ideas and like, working, in the DAW, we would use Logic and like be able to like share files and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
um,
So is that how you guys are
yeah.
doing like the back and forth
Mhm.
now? You're just sharing Logic files?
Yeah, man. So definitely, I know Jesse uses Logic. I use Logic. Lorenzo used Logic. Um, yeah, it just kind of seems like that's the go-to. Where like do videos
Yeah.
kind of for each other.
So is
Um,
everybody in Corpus, or do you guys have
mhm.
is Jesse still in or Lorenzo in San Antonio?
Well, so Lorenzo, he's actually in California now, and I guess kind of jumping around. Like you can kind of like see the different eras of the band. Like
Okay, okay.
so we're talking the Dreamer of Tragedy
Uh huh.
era
Okay,
was
okay.
like I would say a good maybe 3 or 4 years with that lineup, but it just kind of got too hard with Lorenzo being in California and coming
Okay.
down. Like because we were like it was just hard for everyone, man, and
Yeah, yeah,
so it came to the point where like he just couldn't do it anymore. We're
yeah.
still great friends and everything, but just the logistics and he's over there in California and he's doing some awesome stuff, man. He's like
Nice,
he's drum teched and he did like some recording internships and
nice.
yeah, he told me like a story of like hanging with like Mike Portnoy and stuff, like so it's like
Whoa, nice.
so yeah, he's doing good stuff, man, but unfortunately, like yeah, that the Dreamer of Tragedy was kind of like the end of the Lorenzo era. So then we're
Okay.
back to like finding a drummer, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
Corpus is
story
tough,
again.
man. We pump out
Hmm.
so many guitar players. There's a guitar
Yeah.
player every 5 feet in Corpus, but which is funny because
Yeah.
like we went to play a few times in Houston, and every time we went, we were like, man, the people that brought us were like, you guys should come to Houston. Houston's just dying for guitar players, and I was like, really, we're dying for drummers, and they're like, no, 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 we have drummers everywhere, and I was like, oh man, some of those guys just come over here. We'll just do a trade.
Yeah, yeah. Super hard to find, man. I mean, we like put Craigslist ads. We did everything, like Facebook groups. And again, we would get a lot of, you know, inquiries and stuff and people like saying they're down. And then we would send them the tracks and and at this point we were sending them a balance of stuff. So we
Okay.
needed a drummer that can play the brutal stuff, but then
Yeah.
also is able to do the prog stuff. Cause I would say the drums are like equal. I would say pretty as equal challenging, man. Like
Wow.
not necessarily like a whole bunch of blast beats, but just the timing and like, kind of being spot on. And
Yeah.
so it was hard for us to find a drummer, but we did luckily find this dude named Zach out of Austin
Okay.
who plays with this group called Chronologist.
Okay.
And I think Dave found him actually. Dave is the bassist
Okay.
of
Okay.
Fall.
So are
And
they're both in Austin, right?
Chronologist, the band is
No.
in Austin. Dave
Oh,
is here in
yeah.
Corpus, the bassist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I guess. Yeah, sorry, I missed your earlier question, but we're all in Corpus pretty much. Yeah.
Amazing.
Uh huh.
That's awesome.
So Zach was kind of like this hired gun dude, where he
Okay.
would like kind of just jam with whoever kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, and so Dave found him, and then we had a show coming up. Gosh, I can't remember who we opened for. It was in Austin. Um, it was at the Come and Take It Live, which is a really cool venue, man. Have you been to that one?
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, we hired Zach, and dude, he was able to learn the songs like he was a professional, man. He like went to Berkeley and stuff. So we like
Nice.
showed up to the rehearsal. He had like charts, like he had it all like,
Nice.
yeah, he
He
had
was
like the
ready.
music. He had like the music stand while he was like blasting, and then like turning.
That's amazing.
So, dude, we thought like he killed it, dude. Zach is like he's a great drummer, man. He's a super cool guy, and so yeah, he was kind of like that guy where we were like, okay, when we need a show, Zach's our guy, man. We got him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done a few shows with Zach, but then it's kind of like, we need someone permanent.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotta
yeah, yeah.
fun. We need like Zach's great and all, but what if he has like another gig lined up, or it's kind of like he's a session dude, and it's understandable, man. He's a great guy. He's a great drummer. So
Yeah.
yeah, finally we were able to find David Sanchez out of San Antonio, who's
Nice.
jam. Yeah, he's jammed with several of the metal bands out there in San Antonio, and dude, we like did a rehearsal with him, and again, like it's kind of the thing where it's like it can either go great or horrible because
Yeah.
we send the tracks ahead of time.
Yeah.
We send the tracks and we're like, okay, do these. And for this rehearsal, we drove up to San Antonio,
Okay.
and so like yeah, we drove up, met him, super cool guy. We instantly clicked,
Nice.
which is like really cool because yeah, we have like this like friendship and like language and vocabulary that's like it's like unique to us, man. Like
Nice.
yeah, me, Jesse, and Dave, like it's like we're just great friends, man. And so this guy David instantly clicked with us, man. And then the
Nice.
jam was solid, dude, spot on, man. He was playing like blast beats and then able to play the prog stuff. And so we asked him, man, hey man, you want to be in the band? And he said yes. So
Nice.
yeah. So then yeah, now like the lineup is back to solid 4-piece,
Nice.
Yeah. And so like yeah, that's pretty crazy how it's kind of gone through changes, and we all communicate and stuff, and we're able to like just connect online, despite the whole craziness, because
Yeah.
and we also have a lot of things going on, like Jesse has several awesome bands that are like really being successful, and David also has quite a few bands that are really successful. So it's really cool, that their music's just kind of like all around in the fall
Yeah.
band, and me as well. Like so as of this year, I've been really like focused on my graduate studies, and I'm back in grad school. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, which is, well, I wouldn't
That's
say
tough.
back in grad school, but I'm in my second year of
Yeah.
grad school, and yeah, it's really demanding and busy. So, the guys have been understanding with like me and my schedule and stuff like that. So I kind of like, I've been taking like time off, to focus on my studies, and which is great
Yeah.
because we still have the band and the friendship, and they're still very supportive of my decisions and each other. So
See,
yeah,
it's
it's really
amazing
cool.
to see that because from an
Uh,
outside, seeing how busy you guys are and still being able to make it work, it's really a testament to like good friendship, good
mhm.
communication, you know what I mean? And just the
Yeah.
desire to want to do this as well, you know what I mean? So that's awesome. I really dig that. I wanted to pick your brain just a little bit on gear because
Sure.
I have
Absolutely,
seen some
dude.
amazing stuff from you. So what are you
Dude.
playing? What are you playing these days? Because I think I saw
Yeah.
Mayones.
Yeah, man. I'm like just a gear nerd, dude. Like the gas tank is never filled. It's like always, dude, I've tried to find the cure for gas and I haven't found it, man. You let me know
Uh,
when you find it. Like,
you
does it
literally
even
just have to get offline. You have to
yeah,
become a hermit
dude.
because it's just too hard.
I've tried that, man. Even like me going back to school, like honestly, I'm like busy all the time. So like you would think like that my gear is like not there, but it's still there. Like I still look on Reverb and stuff. So yeah, man. Like no, I'm pretty proud of my collection, man. I have like a collection now of
Okay.
like guitars throughout the years, and then also, dude, I'm just kind of like I'll have guitars and like flip them out. Like I'll
Yeah,
sell,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll like sell guitars and stuff. But then you got the ones that you'll never sell,
Yes.
kind of thing.
So what?
And
Tell us
yeah,
about a couple that you'll never sell.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
just that you'll never get rid of.
yeah, yeah. So, Dude, I'm a big Petrucci fan, man. So I have like a couple of the Ibanez JPMs from the
Okay.
90s. Yeah,
Wow.
man. I have
Nice.
like one that's actually 1997. So it's like a 97 JPM.
Nice.
Great, stellar condition. It's the Picasso P2 with the kind of pink and green graphic,
Nice.
blue. And then I also have another JPM, a 99 one. This one's the P3. So it's like white and black. I'll
Okay.
never get rid of those, dude, just because like you cannot find them.
Yeah.
And like, dude, they go like if they ever like pop up on Reverb or something, dude, they're like going up in price like by the day. It's
Nice.
crazy, man. So I got those. I also have an ESP Kiko Laredo model.
Okay.
So he was with ESP for like maybe like a year,
Okay.
and this was like following Angra's Aurora Consurgence album, and so he came out with this like killer black ESP, and has like scallop frets past the 12th
Ooh.
fret, which is pretty crazy,
Nice.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd never played on that before until this guitar, and now I see what it's all about. It's like it I wouldn't say it like makes it easier, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever
Because you
played on
gotta
the
be.
scalloped?
Yeah, you gotta be careful because you can bend it out of tune instantly.
Dude, I
Yeah.
know.
It's yeah.
It's exactly, man. But I do notice like for like the legato and arpeggio stuff, it's that thing is quick. Yeah. That's
Nice.
awesome. So yeah, I got that, and so those two I feel like, well, I will never get rid of those because they're like out of production and they're like
Yeah.
gems, and I'll have those. And like for fall, those guitars have definitely rotated, because we have an interesting tuning, which is, well, I would say for a 6 string, it's interesting because it's got to be just right, man. We play in B standard,
Okay.
so like, ideally you would want like a baritone for this kind of
Yeah.
tuning,
Yeah.
but I don't think any of us play baritones, to be honest. You
Yeah.
know, I think Jesse had one at one point. It was like a 27-inch scale, which
Yeah.
we actually used to record the latest track. I don't know if you're familiar
Okay.
with that, Tears in Rain. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, and everybody listening, check out Tears in Rain on Spotify, because that track is kind of like, I would say, a collection of Fall as a band. I would say, like, kind of like
Nice.
it's got like the energy, the brutality, some of the clean stuff. It's kind of like
Yeah.
just a good catalog in one song.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, for fall and stuff, like I'm just kind of changing it out. And honestly, like I was using the drop pedal for a while. Are
Okay.
you
Okay.
familiar
Okay.
with that pedal,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
Digitech pedal?
Digitech. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that pedal works. It works great. It
Tracking pretty good.
tracks. Dude, the tracking is insane. Like honestly, like I would show up to the gig in E standard and put that thing like, yeah, and drop it to B, and like nobody would know. So it's kind of like my
That's
little
crazy.
secret. Yeah, which is a cool pedal to have. I kind of like, I would say, if I could recommend a pedal,
Yeah.
we talk about delays and all that, which is great and stuff, but you might want to carry Digitech drop, because say like your string breaks or something, right? And you're like in a Floyd Rose or whatever, and you're at the gig and you forgot your strings, but you got your drop. Maybe you can borrow someone else's and then instantly get back on the show. You know what I mean? Like
That's yeah.
I think that's a cool little pedal, dude. So I was using that for a while and just kind of being like an E
Okay.
and stuff. And but yeah, I got the Mayo, and that one I kind of experiment different tunings and stuff like that. So like, yeah, usually when it comes to the recordings, we'll kind of like share gear. We're
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
like,
Okay.
we've used different stuff.
Okay.
We've also kind of like, experimented with the tunings and stuff in the studio, but then
Okay.
we'll like
Okay.
relearn it in B to play live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So it's kind of,
Interesting.
yeah,
So
it's
you
kind of like
guys are
that.
going to
Uh-huh.
Houston for this next record, right?
Yeah.
When's that
So
happening?
yeah, speaking of the next EP, I believe it's called Ghost and Dust.
Nice.
So yeah. So as I mentioned, the guys have been real understanding of me, kind of like taking the back seat and like, focusing on my schoolwork. And, it's heavy, man. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a lot of work, and I'm going to school for instructional design, and I want to, move forward in my career goals. And so I'm very, determined for that.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
So I'm really working on that a lot. And, so the guys have really like taken command, of the writing for this one.
Nice.
And, so I believe Jesse scheduled some time in October for the fall.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, for the new one. And so, yeah, like my parts, like I won't be in the studio, but like I'll be able to like record from my personal studio, which is cool.
Nice.
Like honestly, like plugins have been working great for me.
Yeah.
And so I'll be able to send, my little contributions to them.
Nice.
So that way they can just like, put it in.
What they call
just
it?
Get it nice. Just get it to fit nicely,
Yeah, fly it in.
Yeah, fly it in. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's just kind of like, it's cool, that I guess we're able to do this, and kind of like continue putting out music, even though it's kind of like the band isn't playing live and stuff like this, and really together we're still able to make it work and stuff like that. And also like it kind of gives everybody else chances to like work on other stuff, like Jesse's got like those other projects. And I know, speaking me personally, like I love the band, but I also want to like do other stuff musically, personally, that's kind of like just a different outlet. That makes sense. So like I have like ideas for like new projects and stuff like that I cooking on and stuff like that.
Nice. So are you completely ampless right now? Are you just using
actually,
the neural stuff?
In terms of like recording, yes. So like
nice.
For recordings, like everything has just been the neural, man. Like
that's crazy.
If you listen to our last track, it was done entirely, like we recorded the whole thing at my home studio.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And we didn't mic up a single thing, Jesse did track the vocals though at South Wing, which is the same studio that we did the Dreamer Tragedy EP.
Oh, okay.
And it's also the same studio where the upcoming Ghost EP will be recorded. So they're really great to work with, and
I think you guys shouted them out on your page, and I went and checked them out, and I was like, this is a nice place, like really nice.
Dude, yeah, man. Highly recommend it to anybody looking for a great, affordable studio to work with, and just great guys that know what they're doing. They have awesome, ear and suggestions and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, South Wing in Houston, man. Shout out to Chris and Craig.
Nice.
Great guys,
Chris
man.
And Craig.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
Nice. Well, dude, we have this we'll try it out, but we have this segment called what's in the box. And so every episode I have something in the box, and I'm like, I'm gonna pull it out. I know what it is, but we're just gonna talk about it. And there's two things for you. I mean, you can take your pick, but for this week, I saw you with something, and I was like, I gotta ask him about this. So this is just an example. One is an OD pedal or distortion pedal, right? Because I saw you with some very eclectic taste with that. And the other thing is some picks that are, I got John Petrucci and I have an Eric Johnson Jazz 3.
Nice,
and so,
dude.
I wanted to talk to you about these things because, you're such an articulate player. And I know that a lot of the kids that are watching want to know, how do I get that sound without sounding like mush? And the two things that came to my mind, I was like, a lot of the control is going to be in his pick. And I know that you've kind of, had this like journey of picks, and then also being able to have that crunchy tone without the flub. So I was like, these are two good things that Daniel probably has tons to
Yeah.
talk about when it comes to this. So give us your knowledge, please.
Dude, nice, man. Great questions, and thank you for your words and comments, man. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
well, first of all, I like a thick pick, so
Okay.
I kind of tend to get one that's like 1.3 millimeter and above. And so I've been playing Jazz 3 style picks for like as long as I can remember. I mean, I
Okay.
used to
Okay.
do like the typical Dunlop, Tortex and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but then I made the switch like maybe sometime in college after I found like Michelangelo uses a Jazz 3. So I was like, I got to use one.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, man, I can kind of show some of the ones that I use. And also, I've had this conversation with several of my students and people too. It's kind of like the pick for me changes, dude. It's
Okay.
kind of like a flavor of the day almost,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's like, I feel like some days I'll sound great with a certain pick, like for example, here's like a purple Swiss.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a Jazz 3 shape. Yeah. So I love the Jazz 3. This is kind of like your regular Jazz 3 mini shape.
Okay.
And this one is specifically Jason Becker's signature,
Nice. Yeah.
right? So like I'll be jamming on this one, say on Monday, right? And then I'll go back on Tuesday and like think, oh, what? I sound like shit. What the hell is going on here? And then I'll try another pick, and then I'll sound like amazing or something. I'll sound different. Maybe that's all in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something going on there, but like I constantly change picks, dude. Like I'll like switch, So what I showed you was a mini,
Okay.
or I'll try like an oversized Jazz 3. And these are both Swiss.
Okay. Okay.
Thankfully, jamming, and honestly, like I think like doing like some of my covers helped me out with landing like a Swiss endorsement,
Nice.
with these
Nice.
picks. So like I have different ones, and they just look like different colors, but they're different materials and stuff. Some are
Oh
Delrin, and
wow.
yeah, so they're like made out of different materials. I'll have to give you some
Nice.
next time for sure, man. So I'll
Yeah.
like try
Definitely
those
curious.
out.
So is it the
And then
same thickness, just different materials?
yeah, so I'll experiment with the
Wow.
thickness too.
Okay.
So I'll
Okay.
do
Okay.
like the Swiss come in like 1.3, 1.8, and 2.
Okay.
So like I'll like experiment with that. And typically like for like rhythm playing, I'll tend to go for like a heavier pick, like
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
1.8 or 2, and then maybe like for the lead stuff, maybe I'll go with like the smaller jazz. And but dude, I'm always experimenting, man. Like just this other day, I started playing like some of the Tortex picks, like
Okay.
the Dunlop Tortex,
Yeah.
with like the Jazz 3 shape.
Okay.
So it's still kind of Jazz 3. This is a Paul Wardingham pick. He's a guitarist out of Australia. He's a mega shredder. So I've been
Nice.
trying this one, and lately I've been really digging it. And then you mentioned John Petrucci. He has
Yes.
quite the line of the guitar picks. So I have them all. I've tried them all, but the latest and greatest in his line is this Trinity. I don't
Oh.
know if you
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you've tried this one.
I haven't. These were
Yeah,
just the first ones I found.
yeah. This one's like his latest picks, but it's cool because you can just kind of you just like grab it wherever and be ready to go, you know.
Nice.
And the edges are a little more smooth. So I've been trying that for different stuff. So I
Nice.
think the I think to answer the question on the pick would be like just have a variety, and just kind of
Okay.
change them out. And I'll just kind of do that, man. I'll change them out even before a show. Like I'll have like kind of like 3 or 4 on the amp, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe
Ready to
like
go.
maybe after like, and I've done this like after one song, been like, oh, that just didn't feel right, and I'll try a different one. So I think that's just kind of my personal preference on picks. I'm
Yeah.
constantly
What
changing them and just experimenting. So I'm always open. Like, hey man, you got a pick? I'll try it out, kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
going along with the picks, what gauge of strings do you use? Because you guys are in B to B,
Yeah.
so how do you not get the flub, but also
Yeah.
have the tension right so that the pick works right with it?
Yeah, for sure, man. And also like on the shorter scale too,
Oh
because
yeah,
we're
yeah.
playing on, standard 25 and a half scale. So
Okay.
I think the absolute minimum that I'll do for B is the 12 through 56 set.
Whoa, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
The smalls were gonna go or the 12s. That's amazing.
yeah. Well, it's not like that meme where it's like you see like the guy he's playing with like 12s and his hands are all, because we're not tuning to like E or anything. So
Yeah,
what I want ideally is I want my B tuning to feel like standard tuning tens or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it honestly does. It's pretty close
Oh,
for
nice, nice.
because the 12 through 56 is kind of like very similar to what you would have for a 7 string, because your standard 7 string set's going to have a 56 for the low B.
Yeah.
So it feels pretty good, man, but I still have experimented heavier. I've done like a 60 gauge. I think I've even tried a 64,
Nice.
and that's primarily for like the heavier strings.
Yeah.
And one thing that I haven't really tried though is like, unfortunately, like the heavier you get with the string gauges, the plain G just starts to suck, dude. It starts
Yeah.
to like sound terrible.
Yeah.
So like on that 12 through 56 set, it's still a plain G, and in our case, it would be a D.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it starts to feel, and the tone. I don't really like it, man. Like
Interesting.
so,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You gotta check it out, man. So they do have sets that are like heavier gauges, but it's a wound G,
Yeah.
you know? So I haven't really fully grasped that kind of feel, because it's a complete different feel, you know what I mean? Like, because for me,
Yes.
when I get to the higher 3 strings, they just kind of feel more like I'm, getting to solo territory. Whereas if I have a wound G, maybe I kind of still feel like I'm riffing or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I got to get used to them, but I do have a few sets. Let me see one I can show you. Um, yeah, I just got this set the other day
Oh
that I'm
yeah.
gonna
Horizon.
that I want to try in like a B standard or even lower, because I've been also experimenting with like different tunings and like drop tunings. So like I think these will be good for like B and lower, like drop B flat,
Yeah.
A.
62 is heavy.
Yeah, right.
Are you like filing out the nut, or are you just kind of like shoving them
Dude,
in there?
no, I definitely have had to do that on like some guitars, or like even like the tuning peg, man. Like they
Oh
can't really get.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's like a trick you can do. You can like
Okay.
take
Okay.
like an old string, and you can like just put it through the tuning peg and kind of like go back and forth,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
like kind of seesaw it, and you
Yeah.
can just and then like just like and then try the thicker string, and then like just get it to where it goes in. Like you don't want to overdo it. So I've
Yeah.
done that
Okay.
to
Okay.
get like some of these thick boys in there. But yeah, this one comes with the wound G, so I'm gonna try that out and see what that's like. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm always trying different strings, and then people always ask like, why don't you just guys play the 7? Why don't you just play? Why don't you just play a 7 string? Like, why? Are you? But it's a different tuning, because you're
Yeah.
tuning
Yeah.
that the the second string to F sharp,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like it wouldn't work on a 7 string unless you tune your 7 string like a 6, and then you have an extra.
Dude, yes.
That would like throw me off. I haven't tried that.
I've been trying
Um,
everything because we play
mhm.
baritones, and so
Oh,
we actually
nice, dude.
yeah. Rome's got a Jag baritone from
Yeah.
the 80s maybe. He
Mm-hmm.
found it in Sound Vibes. It was in the back in Sound Vibes, and
Really?
like dude, it's so crazy. It's a Jag and it's a baritone custom, and they're like, yeah, we didn't even know it had bass strings on it. It was crazy.
Oh
So
man.
he has that one. I have a PRS 277 baritone, and we play them 50-50. And so like we've like it's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle. You know what I mean? I bought the Holcomb 7 this year to try and do everything with one, but like you said, it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, this is like an E with a low B, so I'm having to relearn riffs and relearn
Yeah.
solos. You know what I mean? So we're
Yeah.
right there with you. We're if you
So,
find anything, like, please
so
tell us.
how do you have your 7 string tuned?
So right now, I've been learning some of the periphery, stuff to get used to playing a 7 because I've never played a 7
Hmm.
before. So it's just tuned standard with a B.
Okay.
But I've been really thinking about dropping that to F sharp because we play so much baritone, and then just
Yeah.
having a high B string, you know what I mean, and just having just an extended, maybe like a 9 on top, you know what I mean, and just
Yeah.
kind of lengthening the fretboard like that. I will say that playing a 7 and then going back to 6 is just like
Feels like a toy, right?
it
It just
feels like
feels
it's
like,
like that. The neck
yeah.
is so small, and you're just like,
Yeah. Just feels like so easy, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So experimenting with that stuff. We're still like we're recording too, so like we're playing a lot of the baritones, and just the tension is so different. You know what I mean? Like you got
Hmm.
this 27 inches of strings, and like we're playing 64 through
Oh,
12, which is
wow.
the heavy baritone set. You know what I mean?
Okay. Who
And the
makes
tension.
those?
It's a Diodario. Diodario. They're the red pack.
Is it a
It
wound G or is it a, how's that
Man,
G?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to go look. The
Uh-huh.
baritones in the other room.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Maybe I do like the
Hmm.
wound G's, like
Okay.
just in general. So,
I
but
might
yeah,
try
man,
that,
if you
man.
find anything, definitely hit us up because we're definitely to have to do a part 2 with you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That would be great. And I
Yeah,
know
and
I'm
maybe we can get some of the other guys in too. That'd be awesome.
dude, that'd be really cool, man, for sure,
Yeah,
man. I really had a
yeah.
blast doing this and yeah.
Dude, we're thankful to have you so much. Was there anything that you haven't mentioned yet that you would like to mention before we close it out for the day?
Yeah, man, I guess like to all the kids out there, keep practicing and really it's not about the pedals. I guess like the overdrive can help, but you definitely want to have like I think the starting point is like guitar cable amp, get
Nice.
yourself a
Yes.
solid sounding amp, make sure that you can get it there. And then if you need something else, then maybe experiment. But it starts there, man. You don't really have to get like these days, man, like I just straight into the amp or straight into my plugins and I just try to get the
Nice.
sound there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then other than that, man, just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And I will tell everybody like to listen out for what fall has up and coming and also to, follow me as well because I have some exciting projects that I'm, kind of working on. I'm sort of kind of going back to my roots with these
Nice.
projects and stuff that like I really want to get out there that just kind of like is very satisfying for me, on the instrument. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that, and I'm very excited, to deliver that,
So
hopefully
where's the
soon.
best place to find you?
Yeah. So the best place to find me, man, is like on Instagram. You can find
Nice.
me at Zagaroth.
Nice. Zagoroth.
Zagaroth.db, I think, man. I forgot my own username, but yeah, that's just kind of like stemming from my gamer tag,
Nice. Nice.
Zagaroth. Yeah, so Zagaroth.b on .db on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter and Facebook. I'm just Daniel Benavides. And the band actually, fall_official. So make sure to check that out and, be on the lookout for like, we always love posting videos and stuff like that and sneak peeks. Check out the sneak peeks of Jesse in the studio and stuff. I'll post, sneak peeks of me recording guitar stuff and also like playthroughs. So you
Nice.
guys
Yes.
want
I
to
love your
see,
playthroughs. I
yeah.
love your playthroughs. They're
Oh,
awesome.
oh, thanks so much, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just social media, keep up with us,
Yeah.
keep up with
Well,
all the
dude,
guys. Yeah.
it means a ton. And we're definitely having
Mhm.
you back for Guitar 2 or for
I
Guitar
would,
2. For
dude,
part
yeah.
2.
No, it will feel like guitar too, right? Because it's the next year for sure. Yeah,
Yes, man.
definitely, man. And I got to give you a shout out, Ray, and man, and all the Ray guitar players out there, man. A little teaching moment because I'm very proud of my education and being an educator. But I love what you're doing with the program, man. Like,
Oh
I
man,
love,
thank you.
dude. Yeah, I love supporting you guys, and I love going to the concerts, and it feels like a concert, man. I love how, like, you know, there's like a set list change, you know, in the music and stuff, and it's just
Yeah.
great, man. And I love what you're doing for the kids, because it wasn't like that, you know, when I was in guitar. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to have that, and what you guys are doing is a very special program. So keep that
Dude,
up,
thank
dude,
you so much, man. That means a
and
lot,
keep,
really.
yeah, for sure, and then keep me posted. Like, I don't, how are y'all doing that? Are you doing like Zoom guitar, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's just it's pretty much any way we can do it. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
yeah,
We're all learning this year. Like
I know.
we're all freshmen this year. We're trying to figure it out, but yeah,
Yeah,
man. But
awesome,
dude, we
man. Well,
appreciate you so much. The guys, go check it
yes,
out. We're gonna link everything below. And guys, thanks for watching, and thank you, Daniel, for being here, man. We appreciate you, brother.
thank you, man. You guys have a good one. Take care,
All
Ray.
right,
I'll see you, man.
we'll catch you soon.
Later, dude.